Good morning, Westmont Hotels. I'm Dave Smith, and I'm going to spend a minute or two talking about one of these segments that we wanted to prepare for your Directors of Sales meeting. I know that a couple of you probably viewing this don't know me, and basically what you should know is that we use fact-based training, we do our own research, and we write technology, the underlying basis of the training ourselves, and then check it against data that we've either gathered or derived ourselves. So here's the process that I want to deliver to your Directors of Sales, and it goes like this. Very typically, the Directors of Sales are unsure about where a client is in the booking process. So there's a process called the Socratic questioning methodology that lets you find out where's the client. It also allows you to quickly, as a manager, determine the likelihood of the booking. And here's how it works. We know that in every sales relationship, there's contact and contract. Starts at the beginning with the contact and ends with the contract. Of course, assuming it comes back. Along the way, there are waypoints. There's the initial inquiry, holding space, there's the booking. There's going to be negotiation, we all know that. There's a site tour very often. There's a proposal. So what we want to do as Directors of Sales is to find out where we are in the process, and here's the way it goes. Director of Sales to salesperson at the Monday meeting. How did it go with the site inspection the other day? It went great. Good, what happened? Well, they really liked the property. Great, and what'd they say? They said they'll get back to me. Okay, so along the road here between contact and contract, let's say the site inspection now goes here. Now, that is not advancing toward the contract. Why? Because even though you have the site, there was no commitment from the buyer. Without a commitment, you don't get any closer. So this was a very nice transaction without a promise by the buyer. So as a Director of Sales, you say, well, your goal is to get the client to make some level of commitment. Now, that could be a commitment for a hold, a tentative, a booking, but that's the next step. Let me give you another example. The contract goes out. You say to the salesperson, where's the contract? They say, well, I sent it. That's great. Email is very, very effective. US mail is very, very effective. And so you say to them, where is it? You say, I'm not sure, but they're going to send it back. Well, first of all, they usually don't send anything. Individuals do. So the issue here is to simply say to the salesperson, great, I need to know who's sending it back and when. The more a contract lingers, the more likely it is, A, to negotiate, and B, not to come back. Here's another way. Inquiry. Salesperson says, yeah, I had a great inquiry from, let's call it Pfizer. No kidding, what happened? They've got 55 rooms, it's in July and we need it. It's in on a Sunday night and out on a Wednesday, it's a piece of business I really want. Great. What happened as a result of their inquiry? Well, they're very, very interested. Great, did they ask you to hold dates? No. They asked for a proposal? No. Did they commit to a site tour? No. So what do we have here? We have an inquiry that really hasn't gotten us any closer to contract from the original contact. So, what do you have to do? You've got to move that person along here. So what do we want to do? You either have to get a proposal, or a site tour, or hold space. So it's very simple. You say to the salesperson, look, in order for you to advance this sale, you have to do one of these three things. Now I'm making this very simplistic, but if you notice what's missing are the salespeople's actions, and that's purposeful. So when the salesperson says, look, I had a great talk, the question is, what did the client do? When the salesperson says, look, I had a great site inspection, the question is, what did the client do? When the salesperson says, I sent the contract, the question is, what did the client do? You can eliminate from all conversations what the salesperson did and focus on what the buyer did or did not, and then the salesperson receives tactical instructions. By the way, this is the process used by most of the major industrial firms in the US, and the methodology is to ignore the salesperson's recitation of their actions and focus on what the buyer decided to do. If the buyer doesn't move, you've had a lovely conversation and nothing's happened. If the buyer stops, you've had a lovely inquiry or proposal or tentative that's going nowhere. So the only actions that the Director of Sales needs to counsel their salespeople on is to keep the customer moving to contract. It's not what they do, it's what the client does. Great. This is a small segment, obviously abbreviated. It takes an hour in the course, I believe. I want to thank you for listening and look forward to working with you in Berkeley in a few weeks. Thanks very much.